I know I'm not alone when I say I do a lot of driving around that huge Centennial Bowl construction project. I'll also be the first to admit I do a lot of heaving of sighs and rolling of eyes when I get there. Orange cones, barricades. Also, something that strikes me when I drive through there and I look up at these construction workers is the danger they put themselves in to get their job done. So I contacted our friends at NDOT and asked them for a behind-the-scenes look. They let me cross that very thin line between the workers and high-speed traffic, and I've got to tell you, I gained a whole new appreciation for what they do, and I wanted to share it with you. If you do any traveling in the northwest part of the valley, you are certainly familiar with this massive highway construction project called the Centennial Bowl, one of the largest projects in the state and one of the fastest growing parts of our city.
Upon completion, the Centennial Bowl interchange will consist of 20 bridges in total over 3 levels up to nearly 80 feet tall from grade. It'll be one of the biggest interchanges in the state once it finishes. So it's a mammoth undertaking.
But like any mammoth undertaking, it causes headaches of mammoth proportions to the motorists who live, work, and shop in this area. Much of the work is done 20 feet or more above rushing traffic. Some of the workers are right next to 60 to 70 mile-an-hour vehicles with nothing but a few feet and a concrete barrier separating them from injury or worse. And it's not unusual to see workers guiding 1,500-pound loads of supplies from a crane to the ground with their hands. This is a job not for the faint of heart.
This job could be very dangerous. A lot of the carpenters will work at elevations of 30 for 40 feet.
Brian Bogenheimer and Tony Illia of the Nevada Department of Transportation took us on what you could call a behind-the-scenes tour of the $150 million project. Now, there are always safety precautions in place, but for a project like this, it's like safety on steroids.
We always make sure we have proper flooring. If we do not have proper rails in place, they always wear their protective equipment. So if they fell, the arresting gear would stop them. But it's dangerous. And now we're getting into the part of the summer where heat stroke, heat exhaustion is a very important thing.
Bogenheimer says they can't control the weather, but they can control the working hours during the hottest times of the year. He says the steel crew starts at about 3 a.m., the rest of the workers at 4 a.m. They also can't control motorists. Speed limit signs are posted in construction zones with promises of hefty speeding fines, but that doesn't mean they're obeyed.
Even though there's a piece of portable concrete barrier rail between them and the workers, a car doing 60 miles an hour will move that barrier rail extremely quick, if not just fly over the barrier rail completely. It does put a lot of the workers at risk. It would be awesome if the motorists in the construction zones could follow the reduced speed limit signs. And every now and then we ask Nevada Highway Patrol to come out and just help send that message to the motorists.
Keeping these workers safe should be our #1 incentive for taking it easy when traveling around them. But along with that, we can keep in mind that after all this construction is completed, we will all benefit greatly from the finished product. Tony Illia sums up the convenience the Centennial Bowl will provide.
Motorists will be able to create direct links from 95 to 215 and 215 to 95. Now previously, they had to navigate a series of surface streets, go through stop signs, maybe sit through a traffic signal. So it became stop and go, and traffic would back up onto mainline 95. With this, they can make a seamless connection from one freeway to the next.
And all those businesses you now see from the 95, but you feel like you just don't know exactly how to access them, well, that will change too.
And one of the hidden gems here in this final phase, which is the biggest phase of all the phases, is creating more access and mobility to some of these surface streets so that people can readily access those stores or businesses that they want to frequent.
So it's not really a matter of whether or not this project is needed. It is.
The ramps here at 95 and 215 already see 100,000 vehicles daily, and that number is only expected to grow here over the next 2 decades.
So while we're biting the bullet with some traffic headaches, let's try to remember this will be great in 2024 when it's completed. In the meantime, we can all help keep it on schedule by practicing patience and caution when we are in these work zones.
We do everything we possibly can to ensure they're safe, and it's our responsibility before we even start to go, okay, this is a safe environment. And anybody at any time could say, I don't feel safe. We'll stop operations in that area and we'll make them feel safe.
I have some really interesting stats to pass on from Tony Ilya of NDOT, so pardon my cheat sheet. There's a lot of numbers here. This project created 1,700 jobs, either directly, indirectly, or induced jobs. And by the time the final project is done in 2024, they will have used 27 million cubic yards of concrete, which is 560 times the size of the rotunda in the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. This project is being funded by county, federal, and state funds.